consecutive Pro Bowls. Taylor has had to squarely face his much-publicized off-field problems in his football afterlife.
Anybody can quit. Anybody can do that. A Hall of Famer never quits. A Hall of Famer realizes that the crime is not being knocked down. The crime is not getting up again. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you very much.
It's open.
The Corolla CE Extra Value Package comes with air conditioning.
So not funny. I know.
Power windows and power locks.
Please deposit 50 cents. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you. Have a nice day.
If only everything was as reliable as a Corolla.
The Toyota Halftime Show has been brought to you by Toyota. Get the most out of your day, every day. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after this from our ABC station.
When I grow up, I want to find out that size doesn't matter.
I want to wear the same shirt as often as possible.
I want to party like it's 1999. I want to have really good hair.
When I grow up,
I want to live La Vida Loca.
Oh, grow up. Coming to Wednesdays this fall on ABC.
I wouldn't mind having buns of steel.
Tonight, right after the game on KOMO 4 News Primetime, family members held on as long as they could, but a 9-year-old boy slipped from their hands and was swept away in the swift current of the White River. We're following the desperate search for the boy, and we'll bring you the latest tonight after the game. It sounds like a quick way to make big money, but tonight there's a warning about the hot new stock trend, day trading. We'll tell you what the experts say you need to know before you invest. Women are doing fewer chores around the house. Does that mean men are doing more? And where do you find time in your busy schedule to clean your house? See what a new study reveals tonight. And would you want your doctor to treat you with worms or parasites? We'll have details of an unusual medical breakthrough tonight on KOMO 4 News Primetime right after the football game. Now here's a quick look at the rest of tonight's schedule following news. You can see Baywatch at 9, then stay tuned for Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and our news update at 11 o'clock. I hope to see you back here right after the game for KOMO 4 News Primetime. KOMO 4 News, first for local news.
The golden city of El Dorado vanished. Gold doubloons lost at sea. The goose that laid the golden egg, dinner. Now there's the Lexus Golden Opportunity. Don't let this one slip away. You'll find the Lexus of your dreams, whether you buy or lease at values more incredible than you'd ever expect. But hurry, the Lexus Golden Opportunity ends September 6th at your Puget Sound Lexus dealer.
Hi, Rick Riz here to tell you about a great Northwest family activity. Get into an RV and go travel. Our beautiful state has unlimited RV opportunities. You can relax with your family in a travel trailer or a motorhome from RV Outlet Supermall. 3 convenience stores offer the best selection and prices in RV sales, rentals, and service. RV Outlet Supermall is committed to making your camping experience enjoyable. So check it out. Call 1-800-RV-EXPERT and go have some fun.
First for local news, tonight at 8, KOMO 4 News Primetime.
Back in Canton, Ohio, Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Leslie Visser. Hall of Fame weekend concluding with Monday Night Football. And a good first half with the Cowboys on top 17-14, and the crowd electrified by Tim Couch, the rookie quarterback, the #1 pick in the entire draft. And there was Kevin Johnson, the rookie out of Syracuse, their #2 pick, making that spectacular grab. That was the key play for the Browns of the first half with the score 17-14 Dallas. And we figure to see more of Tim Couch in the third quarter as the Cowboys will kick off. Toby Goen will send it down to Jermaine Ross. And we will see Tim Couch immediately as Ross takes it from the 3-yard line straight up the middle and brought down up at the 29-yard line by Myron Smith. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Al, Chris Palmer said he is pleased with both of his quarterbacks, particularly Tim Couch, who he said moved the ball not just consistently, but at times spectacularly. He's also pleased with his second draft pick, Kevin Johnson, who he said was in his doghouse earlier in training camp, but he also has come on beautifully. And as for his first half as a head coach, he said, I survived it. Al?
That's for sure.
Being in the doghouse in Cleveland has a double meaning. At the 30-yard line, first down, as Couch hands the ball off to Madre Hill. Now, here's a guy who was the 7th round pick from Arkansas. Conceivably, with a fantastic training camp, he could not necessarily win the starting job, but play a lot. Had a great beginning to a career at Arkansas, and then in each of successive seasons tore up one knee and then the other. So he's running on 2 reconstructed knees.
They really like him too, and the thing about being young on the Cleveland Browns is you have a chance to make this football team, and they're going to start with the young guys, especially on offense.
Chris Palmer says he reminds me, at least in style, of Keith Byers. Couch, good play action, and then it's caught. Darren Chiaverini adjusting on the pattern and makes the catch at the 36-yard line.
Chiaverini, another guy who's shining in camp, a rookie out of Colorado, who really, Chris Palmer compares to Wayne Corbett of the New York Jets. Smallish, very quick underneath, and really has great ball skills. And you can see it right here. He stops, lets the defender run by, and goes up and makes the catch. Signs of the future here, it looks like.
Rookie to rookie, all the way down to the 36-yard line. First down early in the third quarter. Cowboys up by 3. Hill picks up 2. Tackled by Greg Wilkins. They have Hill, and we saw Kirby and Shaw. And they also have Ronald Moore, a fellow you're very familiar with, Boomer.
Yeah, I played with Ron back at the New York Jets a few years ago. You know, he's a good special teams player. He had a pretty good year. He had a pretty good year with Arizona, close to 1,000 yards. And, you know, he's one of those veteran backs. But if Madre Hill shows something, the veteran backs like that will be in trouble.
Second down and 8 at the 34-yard line. And Couch going for Chiaverini again. There is contact, a little pushing, but incidental, according to the officials. Ladafis McCallow covering on the play, and it's incomplete.
Well, we can't complete every pass, can we?
No.
But this is good time for Tim Couch because he's playing against, remember, a defense that's young as well. He'll sit back there. You'll see a little push right here, but that's stuff that the officials are going to let go away anyway. But this is a time for him to learn the offense, get the feel of an NFL game, even though you're not playing against the first-team defenders, and you have a bunch of rookie defensive backs out there that you can exploit.
Third down and 8. It's an inside handoff out of the shotgun. This is Mark Edwards, and the starting fullback still in the game now in the third quarter, or at least starting the third quarter. Takes it to the 31. Fourth down, and so if the Browns opt for a field goal attempt, remember the place-kicking job is still one of those situations to be determined, and if they opt to go for a field goal here and it doesn't look as if they are, it's the kind of kick, as you look at one of those in contention, Danny Kite, the kind of kick that could win a guy a job. He won't have the opportunity.
Also a situation where you want to see a young quarterback having to make a play.
Fourth down and 5 from the 31-yard line, and it is incomplete. There's a wrestling match and no flag.
I can't believe that that is not being called against Kevin Brooks. That was a hole. It looked like he held him. And really all that is a little timing pattern that's very difficult to execute in a game like this. Look at the top of your screen right here and watch number 35 grab.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jermaine Ross.
We can't rule on replay on that one.
Nope. Jermaine saying, what does it take? Dallas ball.
I'm telling you, this place is cheesy cakes.
I had a turkey chased by a poodle.
I was headed for Brooklyn, wound up in Cincinnati.
My mother-in-law moved in, never left.
Ooh. This guy had a 5-bagger in the graveyard. It was beautiful.
Any game with its own language deserves its own beer. New Bud and Bud Light pin-shaped bottles.
My shoes are too tight.
125 miles above Earth, he made contact with something.
What is that?
Not of this world. On August 27th,
He's not your husband anymore.
the terror
Strange, Mrs. Amakost.
is
I live here.
multiplying.
What do you think he put inside of you?
Johnny Depp, Charlize Theron. The Astronaut's Wife, rated R. Starts Friday, August 27th.
You know the feeling of driving a new car. Celebrate that feeling during the Ford authorized clearance with 0% financing plus $750 cash back on every '99 Contour, Escort, and ZX2. $1,000 back on Taurus. Either way, it's practically in your driveway. That new car feeling is closer than you think during the Ford authorized clearance at your local Ford store.
Year 30 of Monday Night Football, and what a schedule we have for an anniversary year.
It's a great schedule. I mean, we have the Jets 3 times, the Cowboys 3 times, the Vikings. We have Mike Holmgren returning back to Green Bay. What a great story that's going to be.
Well, tonight that'll be the first time we see Dallas after our opener, which is Miami at Denver. They'll take on Atlanta. The Falcons are on 3 times as well. Holmgren back to Green Bay, and then Green Bay against San Francisco in late November.
It's a tremendous schedule, and especially late in the year. There should be some real serious playoff implications. The way they set it up for us has been terrific for our 30th year.
Yeah, no, we always like to say it's the best schedule we ever have. This is the best schedule we've ever had.
Let's put it that way.
It's at least on paper at the outset of the season. It's terrific.
A lot of stories around the NFL, though, this year, and a lot of storylines to be following. I mean, can the Jets redo it? Can the Arizona Cardinals take the next step? How good will Seattle become?
2nd and 8.
Will Minnesota take the next step to the Super Bowl? A lot of people feel that, you know, from top to bottom, that's the best team. You know, how will John Elway's retirement affect the Denver Broncos? And will Bubby Brister be able to step in and take over?
And then we talked about it a little bit as there's a flag on the play. We got into the Barry Sanders situation. The one thing that disturbed me about that, Boomer, and I don't know what's going to happen with Barry, is that you have a boss, and Bobby Ross is, in effect, his boss.
Yes.
And Bobby was reduced to writing letters and making phone calls that weren't returned.
And it's not right for those people who know Bobby Ross. He's honest, he's to the point, and he's really somebody that deserves more respect than that.
Yeah, and coming from a Barry Sanders is what makes it so bizarre. 2nd and 18 from the 22-yard line. And that's knocked down. Good defensive play, as coming in to make the play was Raheem Abdullah, a rookie out of Clemson.
You know, we talked about a couple of the scenarios that could happen with Barry Sanders, and because of the salary cap implications surrounding a possible trade right now, the incentive is not for the Detroit Lions to pay them. I mean, to trade him because of the salary cap hit that they would take in this year. The best scenario that I can figure out is that he sits out this year, somehow pays back the unused portion of his signing bonus before 2000 of next year, or February 14th of 2000, and then is traded so the Detroit Lions can at least get something in return and not have a huge salary cap hit against them.
3rd and 18, and it's a screen that doesn't work very well because Marlon Forbes is there to break it up. I know Chuck Schmidt, GM of the Lions, said we would welcome him back with open arms. We are not entertaining any thoughts of trading Barry Sanders
right now because of the implications of the salary cap. I would think that because they'll have salary cap relief this year, just the way the salary cap is set up, the prorated signing bonus goes into next year. You know, now you might think about trading him next year.
In the meantime, to leave your team in the lurch like that on the eve of training camp, I mean, it just creates a monstrous situation. Cowboys a little tardy in getting all of their players on the field, and in fact, they may have too many.
Well, it's ragtag preseason time right now. Guys don't know whether they're on the special teams or not. And there's really one of the best special teams coach in all of the NFL. And one of the things about the Dallas Cowboys that you can always count on is that they will be organized. They will know what the deal is. But right now, you know, you have 80 players on the roster. It gets to be a little helter-skelter.
Chan Gailey has the look of somebody who's going to fire someone. Gabe Lindstrom, rookie punter out of Toledo, comes in and floats this one to the 49-yard line into the arms of Jermaine Ross, who crosses midfield and gets taken down at the Dallas 46.
Jermaine showing some courage, taking that ball with those guys coming right down on him.
At Hockley's group with another flag, another ineligible man downfield. So the Cowboys have had a delay of game and ineligible man downfield on successive plays.
I would think you would decline this and take the ball right here where it is, inside the 50.
Palmer expects it.
Member of the kicking team, number 51, was illegally downfield before the kick. The penalty is declined. First down.
And Cleveland with Couch will have it on the plus side of the 50 now. The Browns trailing by 3. 9:45 left in the third. Folks up on the hill.
I was going through this intersection.
What?
No, this guy came in and I swear to avoid him, but
Slow down. Are you all right?
What happened? Dad, I'm really sorry about the car.
That doesn't matter. That's okay. Don't worry about that.
Your whole life can change in a second. So think about this. Ford Taurus has earned the highest government front crash test rating available. 5 stars.
He shook up, but he's fine.
Is it me, guys? Or do we really look ridiculous? Man, for free Bud Light, I'm doing 70s night. Come on, brother.
Shut the door! You're letting in a draft.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
ABC's $1 Million Monday, starting with the Drew Carey Dance Party, an extravaganza so big you'll think we spent $1 million, but we didn't. We saved it for the premiere of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? 13 days over 2 straight weeks, where each night someone could walk away with $1 million. The premiere of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The biggest primetime quiz show ever, right after the Drew Carey Dance Party. $1 Million Monday on ABC.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
That's quite a sight. The football-shaped Hall of Fame rotunda here at Canton, Ohio. They've expanded this facility through the years, and it's a marvelous exhibit. And the shot provided by the Goodyear blimp hovering high above Fawcett Stadium, which is right next door. Cleveland has it at the 46-yard line as Tim Couch gives the ball to Andre Hill. Slants over the right side to the 40-yard line. Gain of 6. Let's go to Leslie.
Al, of Roger Staubach, Tom Landry once called him the greatest competitor I have ever seen. He, of course, threw for 22,000 yards, the great Hall of Famer who actually grew up in Cincinnati. And so, Roger, how important to you is it that the Cleveland Browns are back in business?
I think it's a big deal. In fact, I saw Otto Graham here tonight, Marion Motley and Lou Groza, and I watched them when I was growing up, and actually played football on this field here at Fawcett Stadium in high school. So the Browns were our team, and watched them all the time, and the league needed to have them back. The Cleveland Browns are probably the biggest tradition in the league, goes back to the heart of Cleveland.
You were voted, of course, the all-time greatest Cowboy quarterback, but you told me once you would have voted for Troy Aikman.
Oh, well, I would have. The guy is a fantastic quarterback. He's a great guy, and the way he's played in the 3 Super Bowl victories in the playoffs, no one's ever played better in the playoffs than Troy Aikman, so I'm a big fan of his, and I'd give him my vote.
Who's a better golfer?
Well, he and I are pretty even in golf right now. He might have a little bit of an edge, but I'm gaining on him.
What about seeing these young quarterbacks? What's your impression of Tim Couch?
I think Tim Couch is outstanding. He's almost completed that great pass right there. And I also like Cade McNown, the kid that's going to the Bears, and McNabb from Syracuse. So there's a lot of really good young quarterbacks coming out in this draft, and I think Couch and McNabb and McNown are the best of the group.
It shows that you used to be a broadcaster. Thanks a lot, Roger. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Leslie.
The thing that I always thought about Roger Staubach was how humble he was. You see right there, Tim Couch again throwing the ball exactly where it needed to be thrown, away from the defender. The receiver has to adjust and make the play. The ball was there. If you have just invested $48 million into this kid, you have to be pretty happy about that.
Right now you are.
That's exactly right.
Because it's a crapshoot. I mean, look at San Diego.
You just don't know. You really don't know.
Jermaine Ross. Ball coming loose, and then after a Hill 2-yard run through the middle, it's 3rd down and 8 at the 31-yard line. Up the blitz, catch is made, good move, a first down as Curtis Marsh takes it to the 12-yard line.
See, these are the things that you look for when the quarterback is sitting back there. He sees the blitz coming, he's in the shotgun, there's no panic. You don't see him speeding up, you don't see him showing any sign of duress. He's standing there, he's delivering the ball, and it's on target. Just watch him right there, nice and easy, and you can see the guy coming free, the linebacker blitzing, but again, nice poise and a good run after the catch.
Curtis Marsh has been around, journeyman receiver, picked up 18. Hill takes the ball to the 11-yard line.
Now, little things too. Watching him underneath center, he's making signals to his wide receivers on running plays and things like that, you know, are signs of poise and understanding. Take a look at his numbers right here. He is right on the.
His quarterback rating would be 123 with those numbers, and if you have 123, you're going to go to the Hall of Fame. This is right across the parking
Hall
lot.
of Fame right now.
2nd down and 8 from the 11-yard line. Couch throws, and that pass is incomplete. Jermaine Ross, the intended receiver, will look down again at Fawcett Stadium on just a perfect day and a great day for the rebirth of a team. And we talked about the fact, as you look at Ray Perkins, one of the assistant coaches, and Ray's been around, formerly the head coach of the Giants and the head coach of the Buccaneers, and this is his 6th NFL team, and at one time the head coach at the University of Alabama. Here is the tight ends coach. 3rd down and 8 from the 11.
You can see up here he's pointing to the guys that he's alerting his receivers who are blitzers if they can't get ready to get the ball.
Improvising?
No.
Takes it to the 5-yard line. We
don't want to be doing that.
No, Tim, it's preseason.
But you know what? He's showing some fire, you know, and he's big enough, he's strong enough, and he wants to show. The one thing that he did say to me is that he wanted to show his teammates that he was just a regular guy. He didn't want to be in all the commercials and be on all the billboards, that he just wanted to be a regular guy. And this is the type of stuff, a la John Elway in the Super Bowl, that makes a difference.
Dat Wynn was in on the tackle, and that is Dat Wynn, the rookie middle linebacker, who is needing some attention with 6:09 left in the 3rd.
Good morning, Miss Valding. How are we feeling today?
Good, thanks.
Deep breath. Let me just check one more thing.
Are you ready for Women's World Cup soccer?
Body shoot! Go!
Brought to you by Bud Light.
Reflex is good.
We interrupt this program for this important announcement. MCI now offers 5 cents a minute every day. That's just 5 cents every evening and all weekend long. Presenting the Billboard of the Millennium. Let her rip.
MCI, 5 cents every day.
That's one powerful message. Call 1-800-EVERYDAY to join.
You know the feeling of driving a new car. Celebrate that feeling during the Ford authorized clearance with 0.9% financing plus $750 cash back on every '99 Contour, Escort, and ZX2. $1,000 back on Taurus. Either way, it's practically in your driveway.
I just wanna
new car feeling is closer than you think during the Ford authorized clearance at your local Ford store.
That win was shaken up, making that last tackle, but appears to be none the worse for wear. On the sideline right now as Phil Dawson comes in to attempt a 23-yard field goal on 4th down to tie the game. And Dawson trying to win the kicking job and just does get that inside the left upright with 5:49 remaining in the third. So the game tied 17-17, and we go back to Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Al, another Hall of Famer, Billy Shaw. Billy, you were also drafted by the Cowboys. Could you have been a Cowboy?
Well, I was drafted by the Cowboys, but after I had signed by the Bills. And the Cowboys, all the people that talked to me back then, wanted to play me at linebacker, and I never had played linebacker. So the Bills wanted to play me on the offensive line, so I went to Buffalo.
You are the only Hall of Famer who played his entire career in the AFL. Is that special to you?
That's very special. It's special because I represent a lot of guys that that played their whole careers in the AFL, and I'm humbled, and I take a lot of pride in representing them.
And it's a little unusual. You had your trainer present you.
My trainer presented me, Eddie Abramovsky, first trainer in the history of the Hall of Fame to be a presenter. He kept us all healthy, and he was instrumental in my playing.
Well, it's a lot of firsts and fitting. Congratulations to you. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Leslie. I thought it was very funny the other day. Poor Billy thanking everybody and everybody in his family. And he's really a sweet man. He forgot his wife. Thanks to Pat out of the speech as Marte Jenkins runs it back to the 30, and it was up to Eric Dickerson. Eric got right up to the podium when they brought him up to be inducted, and he said, hey, first things first,
right,
Pat
exactly.
Shaw, would you please stand up?
I think when you come here as a football player, I know I feel this way, you are somewhat humbled by the great players that made this game the game that it is today. And when you talk to each of the inductees, they all say the same thing, how humbled they are to be here and how fortunate they are to be here and how they represent the players that they either played with or the trainers or the coaches. And it's a great feeling.
From the 30-yard line, the new quarterback is Mike Quinn, and he gives it to Tarek Smith. Jerry Jones, who bought the Cowboys in 1989 and is the proud wearer of 3 Super Bowl rings, and a man very much instrumental in so many facets of the National Football League. Jerry, of course, maybe the most high-profile owner in the league, but a man in so many ways who was very much ahead of his time in figuring out how the salary cap worked and all the things to make his team very competitive.
But also understanding what a winning team means and what a winning team for the Dallas Cowboys, who many people feel are, you know, America's team. That's their slogan. That's what they go by. But now, conversely, on the other side with Carmen Policy and Alfred Lerner, and there you see Emmitt Smith, here in Cleveland, you know the competitive spirit of Carmen Policy. We've seen that. We know what it's like. He came from San Francisco. There he is to the right of your screen. This is a man that wants to bring a championship here and show that he can do it, you know, under his total guidance without anybody else here.
And Carmen's another fellow who really has an understanding of what this team and this area is all about, as that is Tarek Smith with a nice move around the right side and a first down to the 40-yard line. Carmen Policy was raised in Youngstown, Ohio. Of course, he and Eddie DeBartolo were longtime friends, and Eddie brought him to San Francisco. So for Carmen, it's coming home, and he brought Dwight Clark with him as well. Dwight, running player personnel, was very instrumental in the 49ers success as well from the front office. And so Carmen brought Dwight and 10 other 49ers with him. And of course, there's a whole San Francisco feel around the Cleveland organization.
This is the area where rookies get a chance to really shine, and you have a wrong formation right here. The tight end kept going from one side to the other. You can't have a tackle on the other side left uncovered like that.
So timeout with 3:39 remaining in the third. Dallas 17, Cleveland 17.
Announcing America's newest tire store, your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealer. They have just the brand name tires for you. Tires designed and built for your Ford, Mercury, or Lincoln. All at competitive prices. Now the best place to get tires is from factory-trained technicians, the people who know your car best. Quality care service, the right people, the right parts, and always the right prices at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Turn the lights off. Turn that light off.
Rated R, now playing.
At Burger King, we're always trying to make have it your way better.
Whopper with cheese, hold the onion.
Whopper, extra pickles. No tomatoes.
Don't worry, everyone's gonna get a Whopper. No onion, no pickles.
The Whopper can't come to you, but it does come hot and fresh in over 1,000 delicious ways. No wonder it's America's favorite burger.
Dead end, Whopper boy.
Burger King, when you have it your way, it just tastes better.
ABC Comedy Tuesday, we've got the answer.
Hey, Paul, why are you late?
It makes the day seem shorter.
Spin City Tuesdays on ABC. See you there.
Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio. It's the first time that this game has been played on a Monday night.
A little LT fan right there.
Yeah. Browns fans all over the place. Browns fans of all ages. The resurrection of their franchise. The dream fulfilled, the promise fulfilled tonight. After the timeout by Dallas, it's 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Quinn over the middle and nearly picked off one-handed by Raymond Jackson, who was picked up in the expansion draft from the Buffalo Bills. Here's a reminder that college football comes your way on the 28th of August. On Saturday, the Arizona Wildcats against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Papa Joe Paterno in his 34th season in Happy Valley, Arizona. Penn State, first ever meeting between those two teams on the 28th of August at 1 o'clock Eastern time right here on ABC. And the following day, more college football as Miami takes on Ohio State. Smith going nowhere, wrapped up by Arnold Miller. Leslie.
Al, well, you know the bark is back, literally. I'm here with Jim Big Dog Thompson. And Jim, what are your emotions at this game?
It's just so exciting. I mean, I can't believe it. I want to bark my brains out.
Well, Dick Stockton has nothing to worry about. Does he, Leslie?
Keeping the Browns spirit alive, and I'll tell you what, it's definitely alive today.
Leslie, I don't have a follow-up. 3rd down and 10. Quinn taken down by his shirt by Arnold Miller. And the barking commences again.
No, that whole thing started, we should probably say, with Hanford Dixon, a defensive back back in the 80s. He and Frank Minifield formed one of the best tandems of cornerbacks in the league. And I guess he ran out of the end zone one day and just started barking at the people up there. And, you know, I guess our next guest will be able to tell us a little bit more about that.
We're going to visit very shortly with Ozzie Newsome, one of the great Browns of all time and one of the 5 men now enshrined in the Hall of Fame after the festivities of this weekend. Is Toby Gowen. Floats one down to inside the 15-yard line, and then it spins back. Actually, that was Gabe Lindstrom and not Gowen, whose punt goes out of bounds at the 17-yard line. We'll visit with the Wizard of Oz when we come back.
They're not human. They kill without mercy. be stopped. Until now. This summer, only one man holds the key to defeat them. From Michael Crichton and director John McTiernan. Antonio Banderas, The 13th Warrior. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 27th.
When friends get together, the work's all done. There's one place to go when the weekend comes. Ford Country. Look at that truck. Ford Country. Gonna kick up some dust. Ford Country. Where the open road runs. Ford Country. The whole world's Ford Country.
We're gonna change your mind about coloring your gray with the natural look of Just for Men.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men. No one can tell with Just for Men.
Just for Men penetrates hair deep inside where natural color begins. Simply apply, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men.
Here we go, here we go. There you go, sir. Welcome to I need some hands.
The AFC-NFC Hall of Fame game, brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. And Just for Men blends away gray hair in 5 minutes. Looks so natural, no one can tell. The Browns are back. There's no doubt about that. 17-17 is the score. The ball is at the 17-yard line. Late in the third quarter, Tim Couch, who's looked impressive at quarterback, gives the ball to Hill. And what an amazing convergence of events. You knew that Ozzie Newsome, right after his retirement, would get into the Hall of Fame, and here he is. And then to have you go into the Hall on the same weekend that the Cleveland Browns get resurrected is amazing.
Yes, you know, I made it in on my 4th turn, and to have to wait to the 4th year and to do it at the same time that those orange helmets were coming back on the football field was worth the wait.
Ozzie, I think of, you know, the fact we talked to Lawrence Taylor before and how he redefined his position as Tim Couch gets swarmed under there, taking the hit. You, in effect, were among those who really kind of redefined what you did in your position.
That's true. When I came in, a lot of defense was playing that 2-deep zone, and they expected a linebacker to be able to cover a tight end. Sam Rutigliano pulled me into his office after my first mini camp and said, you could be a good receiver, you'd be a great tight end, we will throw you the football. And he had a good vision.
He sure did. Now, you're the vice president of player personnel for the Baltimore Ravens, who obviously were originally the Cleveland Browns. And I'm sure coming here on the induction day Saturday had to be kind of a tough thing. You're probably wondering how you were going to be treated.
Yeah, there were some concerns. You know, I've, struggled through some things with some, letters and phone calls, and I've come back to Cleveland a couple of times, and some remarks have been made. But, what I found out this weekend, that a Cleveland Brown fan is a Cleveland Brown fan, and they really stepped it up for me this weekend, and I really appreciate that.
And I know you went with Art Modell, and I'm sure you feel somewhat close to him, and I know it had to be difficult for you that he couldn't be there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the circumstances was as such that he couldn't be there, but I know he was there in spirit. He was there with me, and he's going to be expecting me back in the office so I can go back to work tomorrow. Yeah. The party's over.
So you're scouting this game as well, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm here working tonight, Art. I want you to know that. And I tell you what, Dwight has done a good job of assembling the talent, and Chris has gotten them ready to play.
Ozzie, as we take a look at the Browns lining up to punt, you could have gone in a lot of directions after your career was over. And here you wind up staying in football, but in a front office role. Did you think that's how it would materialize, or did you think you'd go into coaching?
Well, I wanted to stay in football, and I was given the opportunity to do both. And once I was out on the field, I liked that. You get a chance to get some immediate satisfaction when you're coaching. But I feel like I could take my coaching and my playing and to be able to join that together in the front office. And somehow I'm starting to put it all together. And hopefully in the next couple of years, it'll come to fruition with a Super Bowl. football.
Well, the one thing I'll tell you, Ozzie, from my standpoint, I know from a lot of ex-players, you've always done it with class. You did it with class here. You handled a very, very tough situation on Saturday. You answered a very tough question tonight, and I think that if all players used you as a model, I think would be a great thing.
Well, thanks, Boomer. You know, there was some great competition that we had with you guys.
I didn't have a losing record against the Browns. Just
Okay.
remember that. Okay?
And that's good, but you know, as long as we won no AFC championships, I was all right. Those Central.
Ozzie, terrific. Congratulations.
Thanks, Al.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Boomer. Great to see
Ozzie
you.
Newsome, who helped rewrite the definition of tight end, the all-time leading receiver in the history of the Cleveland Browns. And as we mentioned before, those old records carry over to the current Browns franchise.
What a unique day for him. And you think about, I guess, the distaste for the move of the Browns to Baltimore, and the whole fact that Ozzie's present employer really decided not to come here. And I give Art Modell a lot of credit, because if he would have came here, that would have been a whole nother sideshow.
Illegal formation, offense, an ineligible number was on the end of the line. The penalty is declined. Brings up second down.
Well, yeah, Art knows that he's just persona non grata in Cleveland and in all of northeastern Ohio, and hasn't even made any attempt, as far as I know, to come back. I mean, he's been vilified here, and it's not a question of whether it's deserved or not. I mean, Modell's contention is, he said, look, he said, the last thing I wanted to do was leave Cleveland. If I would have gotten that deal, and all I wanted was a resurrected or reconstructed stadium, I'd still be in Cleveland. But it wasn't to be. Well, if he went to Baltimore, then everybody got together, figured out a way to build a stadium. And the National Football League, understanding how important it was to keep this franchise going, gives them an expansion team as Jenkins makes the catch. And one of the really good things, Boomer, is the fact that they take the colors, they take the helmets, they take all of the tradition with them, and that is unparalleled in the history of sport.
I know it is, and it's an unfortunate thing that Baltimore wasn't able to do it with the Colts. You know, there are a number of situations that come up like this, but Art did the right thing by not showing up and taking care of his friend and making sure his friend's story was the story to be told.
End of the third, game tied at 17. Back we come after this from our ABC stations.
We brought you Dodge Caravan, the most innovative minivan in history, the best-selling minivan in history, and the most copied minivan in history. Now here's what's new from the new Dodge. The Dodge Summer Clearance with a $1,000 cash allowance on Caravan that lowers your price to just $17,785. Or buy Caravan with low 1.9 financing. What's new from the new Dodge? Just catch the Dodge Summer Clearance.
The new releases have arrived at Hollywood Video. And only Hollywood Video gets you 5-day rentals on even the newest releases, like Shakespeare in Love, winner of 7 Academy Awards, including Best Actress Gwyneth Paltrow.
It is a new world.
In a film critics say has it all: adventure, comedy, and romance. Shakespeare in Love. Get 5-day rentals on everything, including brand new releases. Welcome to Hollywood. Hollywood Video.
And the Niners, Thursday, August 19th on Como, ABC4.
Back in Canton, Ohio, Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, and Leslie Visser as we begin year 30 of Monday Night Football. First time that the Canton game has been on a Monday night, and they welcome back the Cleveland Browns, 50 miles south of Cleveland, just about an hour's drive up I-77 as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. And the officials are gathering. I wonder if this has something to do with what's going on in the replay booth, and there it is. And again, I think we're going to have, and very oddly, our first coach's challenge, apparently, which comes at the after an almost 3-minute break from the end of the third quarter. So this is what it's going to look like in the future. You have a situation where outside of with 2 minutes remaining in either half, and let's go back and look at this last play. The pass from Quinn to Jenkins, and it was ruled a completed pass and a first down. That's the end of the period. The defender is McCutcheon, so you would have to assume that it's Chris Palmer who called for the challenge. And unless the challenge is upheld in terms of perhaps where the ball should be marked, he would lose a timeout. So I think this is an interesting call to challenge.
It's because TV is in a TV timeout right now. By regulation, the officials wait until TV has come back to the game before reviewing a play.
All right, so somebody better tell them that we're back.
Well, we've been back for a while.
Cleveland has challenged the ruling on the field that forward progress resulted in a first down.
Okay, so what Palmer's done is he's challenged the forward progress on the play. Now you have 4 guys up in the replay booth. You've got a technician, a replay assistant, a video operator, and a communicator. And they have the ability, the technology is really terrific. We saw it today, to freeze frame and start at different points along the tape. And then the referee goes over with the official who made the call on the field. They take a look at it. Where is forward progress? Where is the tackle made? It's a pretty generous spot is what Palmer is saying.
So now the question is whether or not they'll hold up the challenge.
His second foot is down there at about the 41-yard line. The question is, where is the ball when the second foot comes down? Now, it's supposed to take 90 seconds. Each coach can make 2 challenges per game. If he loses the challenge, it costs him a timeout. So they should spot the ball at the 44-yard line because they reversed it. Now that they've changed ends, this is a very strange.
After reviewing the play, the ruling stands as ruled on the field. The result of the play was a first down.
All right, so in effect, what Palmer,
I think he really wanted to do this.
Yeah, just to see how it would work. What Palmer, it was a very curious challenge to begin with. You're challenging a spot that results in a first down. That's fairly consequential, but at this point in the game, not something I think you'd waste a challenge on. And he loses it, so that means they not only have a first down that is called against them stand, but they lose a timeout as well. Well,
90 seconds later, are we done yet?
Okay, and then it comes at the end of the period as well. As on first down, Tarek Smith gets taken down for a loss. Darius Allen, but I'd hope we'd had a cleaner, more consequential debut of that system than that.
You know, you have me confused now.
Yeah, well,
I thought I knew what this system meant, but now you have me confused.
Well, we talked about a lot of scenarios today, but we didn't talk about the marking of the ball. We also didn't talk about a television timeout where they can't begin the challenge until we come back from a commercial at the end of a period.
Well, it's preseason, Al.
Yes, sir. Boomer, it's been a long year. Second and 13. I can't say. Second and 13 as Quinn takes off, and Mike showing good speed is out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
You would show good speed, too, if somebody was running after you. And you can see right there, this is really the ragtag part of the game, because what happens here is the offensive linemen in there are mixed and matched. They probably don't play with each other quite as much as they would like. They haven't really had that much time together. And the defense really takes over. So you'll see a quarterback dropping back, guys coming free, guys coming up the middle. The real key here is if you can protect for the quarterback, you're playing against a bunch of secondary guys that are all rookies. And they're about as nervous as anybody out there on the field.
Third down and 3 at the 34-yard line. Quinn's pass is incomplete, intended for Marte Jenkins at the 30. Fourth down.
Nice thing there, Raymond Jackson stayed on his man. He didn't give him a big cushion. They tried to throw a little hitch pattern in front of him, and he was right there. Earlier in the game, we saw a few of the defensive backs of the Cleveland Browns playing off in situations like that. But that's the way you play 3rd down and short. Now let's do it again on 4th down.
Fourth down and 3 at the 34-yard line. Quinn, they wrap him up as he throws, and the pass is incomplete, but a flag comes in from the secondary.
You could have holding back here in the secondary. It could be Raymond Jackson. Made a nice play on the down previous, and this time it looks like he got called for holding or interference.
Interference, yep. That's going to be a first down. By the way, one of the things that carries over as you look at Bob Slowick, the defensive coordinator.
Pass interference, defense, number 31. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
One of the things carried over from the old days of replay is certain things are not reviewable. For instance, this, non-reviewable.
Well, it's close. He's got his hand around the waist, and I think the argument that the Cleveland Browns were saying is that Quinn was actually in the arms of a defender, and they might have thought it was tipped.
First down, Dallas now at the 29-yard line. And Quinn throws, bad pass, and picked off by Dalen McCutcheon, son of the great Ram running back Lawrence McCutcheon, the rookie out of USC, with the pick. The receiver starts to slip, and McCutcheon gives the ball back to Cleveland.
Yeah, folks, there's some turbulence reported ahead. We're going to climb to 30,000 feet.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Uh-oh.
Make it a Bud Light.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to return to your seat.
There are a few things you need to do to make your home safe for you and your family, like setting your water heater at 120 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent burns, and installing smoke alarms outside of bedrooms. If your home was built before 1978, have it tested for lead-based paints. Did I mention proper wiring?
For a free brochure on HUD's Healthy Homes and to learn how an FHA loan can help you buy a home, just call.
HUD and FHA are on your side.
The best way to cure athlete's foot so it won't come back is here. New Lamisil AT. So powerful, it does what no other brand can do. These take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Lamisil AT is so powerful, with just 1 week's use, it stops the itching and burning and cures athlete's foot between the toes. So powerful, a clinical study showed 3 whole months later, users were still athlete's foot free. Now without a prescription. New Lamisil AT, the best way to cure athlete's foot.
Tonight, while the Army is grounding its entire fleet of Boeing Chinook helicopters, we'll have details on KOMO 4 News Primetime right after football.
Right at the Pro Football Hall of Fame at Fawcett Stadium, right next door to that edifice, as the Cleveland Browns take over at the 25-yard line against an 8-man front. They give the ball to Madre Hill, and he has a lot of room. And a big run, 32 yards, as he's finally forced out of bounds inside the Dallas 40.
Well, I'll tell you what, he might look a little like Keith Byers when he runs, but he's a little bit faster than him, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely, at least at this point in his career. They're going to say he first stepped out at the 47-yard line.
And you can see why he says that. Keith Byers, when he runs, has those little strides, those quick feet. And you can see right here, it's a little quicker.
Yeah. Tim Couch applauding those mincing steps at the 47-yard line, first down. New quarterback is Mike Cook, a free agent rookie from William and Mary, and his pass is incomplete, intended for Ronnie Powell, a rookie from Northwestern. After the game, a reminder to stay tuned to ABC for your late local news or other programming, or you can turn to ESPN's Sports Center Monday Night Football postgame show with live reports and analysis.
Chris Palmer was telling us about Mike Cook, that he's kind of like the darling of camp. He gets in there and he runs the other team's plays for his defense, and all he does is just throw the ball deep the whole time. And what does he do? He comes out, throws the ball deep.
On 2nd and 10, Madre Hill through the middle. It's interesting, Boomer. It doesn't matter whether it's a world championship team or an expansion team. The third quarterback is always a romantic figure.
Absolutely.
Yes. A romantic figure tonight, though, is Tim Couch, number 2, and the number 1 draft choice, because in the first half, he and Kevin Johnson hooked up for that spectacular touchdown grab. And then this was a 31-yard pass to Cheverini, and then showing that he doesn't mind contact. Tim Couch with that 6-yard run to the 5-yard line, which led to a field goal.
I would definitely say he endeared himself to his teammates tonight.
3rd down and 5. Cook, the double coverage and a bad pass, and it's picked off by Billy Gustin, wearing Billy Bates's old number 40. And cutting across the field, just runs out of gas at the 49-yard line.
Well, Mike, you can't do it. You got to throw the ball where they ain't, and certainly there he threw it into double coverage. And there's Billy Bates right there. He's now a coach.
Yeah, Billy saying, I thought my number was retired. Billy Gustin, the rookie out of Purdue, a free agent, with the pick to give Dallas the ball back. 17 all. Eric Dickerson will join us when we come back.
McDonald's just made someone $1 million richer. Bernard Liang, how'd you do it?
I entered the McDonald's restaurant. I asked for a quarter pounder with cheese. I played the code name game.
And you won $1 million?
Yes.
Come to McDonald's now. There's still 2 $1 million prizes out there. You could be next. The codename game. Did somebody say McDonald's?
I won $1 million from McDonald's playing the codename game.
Ranger Rex here to help keep you prepared for any shopping situation. Shopping can get pretty extreme, so always wear proper gear. Have the right equipment and protect yourselves from the elements. And to be totally prepared, remember to carry a shopper's best friend, your Visa card.
Because at REI, the country's most exciting adventure store, you can hike, bike, climb, and kayak.
You just can't use American Express.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, sir.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
We interrupt this program for this important announcement. MCI now offers 5 cents a minute every day. That's just 5 cents every evening and all weekend long. Presenting the billboard of the millennium. Let her rip. MCI, 5 cents every day. That's one powerful message. Call 1-800-EVERYDAY to join.
Back at Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio, with 12:04 left in the 4th quarter. Cleveland 17, Dallas 17, and the Dallas Cowboys, after the interception, take over at their own 49-yard line. And the man who made the pick, the rookie Billy Gustin out of Purdue.
All right.
With a decent run back to the 49-yard line, enjoying the moment as the Cowboys take over at the 49. Mike Quinn is the quarterback, and Denvis Manns, a rookie out of New Mexico State, is the running back in this set at the 49-yard line. screen is set up, and that's incomplete. Well, what a treat it was on Monday Night Football and the rest of his career to watch the great Eric Dickerson perform. Eric, congratulations, and now here you are as a new Hall of Famer. And what's the last 4 or 5 days been like for you?
Well, it's been fantastic. Really, it has. I mean, it's been kind of tiring. You don't get much sleep around here. But I think the most touching thing, other than the actual induction, was the parade itself. I mean, the parade was phenomenal. I'd never seen so many people screaming, you know, for, you know, us. And, you know, usually in another city you get booed. I'm used to getting booed, you know, so that was just touching to me.
You look like you could play today.
I told you, it's just a look. It's just a look. It's
All
just
right,
a look.
man, you look good. Don't ever apologize for that.
Yeah.
You know, and really go backing over your career. I mean, you started off so great with the Rams. I mean, you were their first pick, second pick overall. I mean, you had great seasons the first 4 seasons. Then all of a sudden, 87, right in the middle of the season, you get traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Take us back to that time for a moment.
Well, it was a time when, you know, it was a most definite contract dispute with the Rams. And it was something that at the time I hoped that we could settle, because I really didn't want to leave Los Angeles. But, you know, it was something that just honestly could not be avoided at that time. And, you know, players were not making the kind of money that they make now. I mean, I was making, I think at one time, $200,000. And I went to Indianapolis and tripled my salary. So that was kind of like a no-brainer. But I love playing in Los Angeles. It was a sad day for me and my teammates. Even the guys I played with, they were saddened by it. But, you know, it was something that happened. And that's the life of a football player.
But what's really unique about that whole thing, it happened right in the middle of the season. I mean,
well, you know, it was a strike season, if you remember. It was a strike season, right? And we had played a Monday night game actually
in Cleveland.
In Cleveland,
yeah,
right in Cleveland. I scored my last touchdown for the Rams in Cleveland, and I think like a week later, I went to Indianapolis in a trade that happened October 31st, Halloween night, and I was getting ready to go to a costume party, and Ron Meyer called me at home.
Oh, you mean the Rams didn't want to call you at home?
No,
the head coach
called me.
Right, the head coach
my old college coach called me, yeah.
You know, you seem so much at peace with yourself these days, but I'm wondering, is there any regret in your mind? I mean, the Rams situation was almost perfect for you with John Robinson and the way that offense was run. I mean, do you think you could have eclipsed Peyton had you stayed in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I do. I believe I could have done that. But, you know, people ask me all the time about that and about Barry Sanders, what I think about that situation. And one thing about great players is they don't get caught up in the numbers. I never got caught up in the numbers. I think you get caught up in the numbers is when you having a season like a 2,000-yard season, or you're going for the record and it's close, like 50, 100 yards away. But, you know, I never really thought about breaking Walter's record. The people just always brought it up to me, you know, breaking that record. And, you know, that was just part of it.
Well, it brings me to another number, 2105. I mean, and 2105 is 2,105 yards in a season. Can anybody
break that record?
You think so now? I mean, you see today's running backs, you know, like say a Corey Dillon or an Eddie George, or, you know, some of these great young running backs that are coming out. I mean,
I'm going to tell you what it takes to break that record. And you saw guys get close. You know, saw Barry Sanders get close to it. Terrell Davis get close to it. But really what it takes is a guy that has true breakaway speed. And I'm not saying I was a burner, but I guess I was a burner because I was fast.
When you got through there, I know.
Yeah, I was. You know, I got to brag about my speed. Okay. I was fast. You know, when you can take a 15-yard run and turn it into a 30-yard touchdown, or a 5-yard run and make it into a 50-yard touchdown. That's what you have to break a record like that, right?
That and durability, and I think those are the things that are synonymous with you. You know, the pounding that running backs take week in and week out, I don't think people really can appreciate that.
No, we get hit every play. I mean, if it's going out of the backfield, a linebacker chugging us, I mean, I can think of one game in particular where we played the Saints, and I was beat up pretty bad. The next week we played the Chicago Bears, and John said, Eric, can you carry it about 35 times? I said, yeah, I think I can do it. And I did.
John Robinson loved to give it to the tailback,
didn't he? He loved it. Student body right, student body left.
Absolutely.
46 and 47 gap was our play.
Cowboys punting here. Eric, tell us about your football afterlife. What's going on in your life?
Well, you know, football, I mean, life after football has been good for me. I mean, I've been traveling a lot, relaxing a lot, and I love it.
You look great.
Thanks.
What a weekend for you, huh?
A great
Congratulations.
Weekend. Thank you.
Love to watch you play.
Congratulations.
Something very special. Eric Dickerson, new Hall of Famer. And we'll be back in Canton right after this.
Resisted barbarians, overpowered savages, thwarted the uncivilized. And that was just on the drive to work. Chevy Blazer. Steel-reinforced double-wall doors, powerful Vortec engine. A little security in an insecure world. Chevy Blazer, like a rock.
Let's see, what's your favorite day? It's Friday. And now, Fridays has some great new pastas, sauteed toppings, delicate sauces, all tossed together in great big bowls. Goodness gracious. Great bowls of pasta at Fridays.
There's a place where phones go unanswered, and you can have tea with your high school sweetheart and Cornelius from Planet of the Apes. And you can visit every night with Serta. We make the world's best mattress.
Every kid knows, if you want to make the big leagues, you better eat your Wheaties. And every dad should know, whole grain Wheaties may help prevent cancer. Numerous studies confirm a low-fat diet rich in whole grain foods like Wheaties may reduce the risk of certain cancers. So when he does make the big leagues, you'll be in the front row. 100% whole grain Wheaties, a champion in the fight against cancer.
Tonight. The whole panel is in swimsuits tonight.
Now, weren't you supposed to wear a swimsuit?
Yeah, that's during the show, not the promo. PI Swimsuit Show tonight.
Back in Canton, Ohio. It's something you see quite a bit on sidelines these days. The bike staying warm.
Staying warm.
Yes, Rod Manuel.
My man's not getting enough running in. That's the
right.
problem.
He hasn't been in the game in a while. Trying to keep loose. Ball back at the 3-yard line.
And here we go again. Bombing away.
Going deep and throws it right on the money. And it's caught by Ronnie Powell. Half the distance of the field. About a 50-yard pickup.
Now that's the way you throw the ball, where there's one guy covering, not two. He learned his lesson, I guess.
50 yards, exactly.
Do it again. We don't want overtime, do we, Al?
Well,
it's a really nice route.
The crowd would like a little overtime. Well, they just want Cleveland to win. It's as simple as that. 47-yard line. On first down, this is Ronald Moore. You know, one of the crazy things about this game is that the Dallas Cowboys are such a high-profile, highly visible America's team. And here they are, in effect. I mean, they are really the Washington Generals tonight,
right,
playing the Harlem Globetrotters. This is Cleveland's night.
Any other time they're playing in this stadium against another team, you know, maybe the Cincinnati Bengals might have more people here just because of the proximity. But everywhere the Cowboys go, they have just legions of fans cheering them on.
Second down and 6 at the 43-yard line. And there's a flag on a pass over the middle to Ronald Moore.
You'll have Holden right in the middle.
Going against the Browns. And let's go to Leslie.
Al, he is a native son of Youngstown, Ohio, the proud president of the Cleveland Browns. Carmen, so far your quarterbacks look great. What was your philosophy in building this team?
Well, I think we sat down and as we analyzed where we should go from the beginning with that clean slate, it seemed pretty clear that the quarterback position was the position we had to build around. And then bringing in a coach like Chris Palmer, it equipped us to follow through in a way that, you know, we just couldn't resist.
How soon do you think you can be competitive?
Well, I think that we're being competitive tonight. So definition of competitive is to hang in there, play good, let everybody on the other side know that they have a real competitor working against them. We can do that pretty soon. Now, in terms of being competitive and reaching the playoffs, I just don't have any idea.
Well, Carmen, as you know, on another topic, the 49ers are being investigated as to whether or not they violated the salary cap while under your control, specifically with charges to payments to Brent Jones. Is there any truth to these charges?
Well, in my opinion, there were no violations of the salary cap, and I think everybody will agree this is a case of first impression. So it's going to be one person's opinion as opposed to another, with some arbitrator deciding who is right. And we'll just wait and see whatever happens, whatever the decision is, we'll live by it.
Where do you think the misunderstanding is?
I think, again, since it is a case of first impression, it's a situation where perhaps a team was trying to take care of a player on the verge of retirement who had given a great number of years of service to that team. And whether or not that became a technical violation is what remains to be seen.
Well, so far the Browns look like they're in good hands. Thank you, Carmen. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Leslie. And that is a very interesting thing that Leslie brought up about the possible salary cap violations and what that might mean.
Well, you're talking about fines and loss of draft picks.
No question.
And all kinds of things that can disrupt the 49ers this year and for years to come.
4th down and 9 at the 46-yard line.
Oh, nice pick.
Well, it's not going to look that bad on the stat sheet. Look at this.
It's that new ball that they're playing with.
He's onto something.
Well, it wasn't pretty, and you know it.
No, it was very ugly. Chris Hansen, a rookie out of Marshall. Chris saying, man, that's the way we did it in Huntington. 7 minutes left in the 4th.
Je suis un homme qui a des besoins.
D'amour.
Non, Doumeni.
Qui est-elle?
La créatrice d'un poulet grillé avec des oignons.
Oh, qui?
Elle prend le meilleur morceau du poulet, le fait griller,
Oui.
puis tu avec du bacon, mozzarella, des oignons sautés, et tout arrosé d'une sauce française. Je ne peux pas lui résister.
Guy, c'est pas étonnant que tu sois amoureux.
Wendy's new French onion chicken grill, the only one like it in the world.
Somehow, we all speak the same language.
After you turn 40, you probably notice your eyes don't focus as well as they used to. Well, now LensCrafters can help with a new and improved no-line multifocal lens called Maximum View Progressives, or MVPs. Other no-line progressive lenses have a more limited vision area, but new MVPs have a vision area that's up to 20% larger to help you see better. People leave seeing better than they ever thought possible, and I love that. New Maximum View Progressives, only at LensCrafters, made in about an hour.
This is how hundreds of thousands of smokers have quit. It's the gradual step-down method, and you get it only from Nicoderm CQ. Store brand patches have only one step. You can't step down your dose. Nicoderm CQ has 3. You step down gradually, and gradual is the method doctors prefer. Quitting's important. Choose carefully. Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman of the Dallas Cowboys. Please join me in supporting the United Way. The NFL, the United Way in you, the power of teamwork.
Are you kidding me?
Boomer, you're hot all over the Buckeye State.
Unbelievable. Look at that.
Your uniform?
All right, I like that.
Look at that. That's Boomer's old number. What year was that uniform from?
Well, you know, I retired from there, what, in 1997, so
right.
I'm sure it was one of those new uniforms.
Right. Who was the Bengal who dyed his hair in Bengal stripes? Did you see that this year?
No.
Somebody in camp. Brian Kuklik is the new quarterback, and he hands the ball to Denvis Mans. Kuklik, the number 4 quarterback, is a rookie out of Wake Forest. Well, the Hall of Fame game tonight is being brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Wendy's new French onion chicken grill, the only one like it in the world. Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit. And Wheaties, the breakfast of champions. 2nd down and 10 from the 4-yard line. Make it 2nd and 9. As Kuklik throws, and that's incomplete. Jason Tucker had to turn one way and then the other, and that's incomplete.
No, it's interesting how you bring up the Bengals. They have the 3rd pick overall in the draft, and that's Achilles Smith.
I couldn't figure out
where's he coming from.
They're all over the joint here.
And that's Achilles Smith, and Achilles Smith has not signed yet, which is really, I mean, kind of baffling when you think about it. The Browns have Tim Couch. He has not missed one practice. They did a good job of getting him signed. Before they actually drafted him, he agreed to a contract. Philadelphia finally got Donovan McNabb under contract. Why isn't Achilles Smith in camp? Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for that.
In effect, I mean, you're just basically saying there's no way he's your quarterback this year. 3rd down and 9, and that's caught for a 1st down by John Washington.
Well, I mean, it's almost like a lost year. And you know, Jeff Blake is going to try to get back on his feet at Cincinnati and take that team to hopefully the next level. But I think the reality is, and we all know this, it happened to me in a number of different areas. When a young quarterback comes in, they get that kind of money. Eventually, they're going to find their way on the field, and they're going to have a lot of time to iron it out. But by him not being there, just as each day goes by, the development becomes slower and slower.
For a team that can ill afford slow and slower development. Denvis Mans is taken out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Well, you know, the Browns have the blueprint for it because they brought him in, they've taught him, and now all of a sudden they're starting to see what is happening.
Mans, one of the only 3 NCAA players, as you can see there, doing that at New Mexico State. A 5'8", a rookie coming in at less than 200 pounds, and a guy that nobody's really paying a lot of attention to, but Chan Gailey talking about him last night fairly glowingly. And 2nd and 4. Working to the outside. The flag is down. Mans out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Holding, it looks like to me, on Oliver Ross, the right tackle. But guys like this, Mans himself and all the players that are on the field right now are just trying to get themselves a chance to show them, you know, the coaches what they can do. And coaches evaluate every
offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Every play of every game. You know, fans might become disinterested at this point in the time of the game, but the coaches don't. And you can see right there, Oliver Ross just actually tackling his man. They're not allowed to do that. But the competition for jobs, especially the last ones on the roster, is fierce. And sometimes it's your roommate in training camp, and sometimes it's a good friend playing the same position.
You can win jobs and lose jobs at the end of the 4th quarter, and as Boomer said, a game where, you know, the fans begin to have their interest wane. Dallas talking about some of their changes. Every team undergoes changes. Nate Newton is now in Carolina. Clay Shiver, the center, to Denver. Billy Davis is gone, the wide out. Fred Strickland, the linebacker, to Washington. And we talked about Leon Lett before, and he is suspended, but the length of suspension has not been determined yet. It will be by Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner, just prior to the start of the regular season.
Oh, man.
Kuklik floats one up there, and it enables the defenders to get back, and Raymond Jackson breaks up the pass intended for Jason Tucker.
I will tell you, Kuklik just got licked. Man, he just took a shot right to the chin, and you know, these are the parts of the things that, you know, you want to see as a coach. Is he going to stand in there and take those hits, or is he going to cower and turn away? But he stands right in, delivers the ball. So you want to play quarterback in the NFL, huh? You know he's coming in, and he knows he's going to lay you out.
You want to play quarterback with a few guys blocking for you up front. 3rd down and 19. A lot of contact there, and they're going to apparently say incidental because there's no flag. Marte Jenkins and Raymond Jackson.
When you look back at what the Cowboys have done this offseason, I think they've really helped themselves. Bringing in Ismail, bringing in Stepnoski. I mean, these are the types of players that, you know, can really get the Cowboys to that next level. This will be a good football team. It's kind of interesting, right? Do you think they should have thrown a flag there somewhere?
I think the officials are flagged out at about this point in the game. Gabe Lindstrom to punt. Short kick, pulled in by Corey Bridges at the 41. And he works his way to the 34 with 4:30 to go. Boomer, I think you talked about it at the top, and it's so true. This Cowboy team it's a good team, but with Lett suspended, they've got to get Dion back. There's one of the additions with Stepnoski coming back that's going to help them. You know, Michael Irvin is in his advancing years. He's 33 years old, and they used him a little bit differently last year. They have a lot of the right people, but I think health is going to be of paramount importance to this team.
It certainly will. And offensively, I mean, they have all the weapons. They have a great quarterback, a good, solid offensive line, if not one of the best offensive lines in football. So you know, that's where you want to start. So they got it going the right way.
Malcolm Thomas for a gain of a couple. No Monday night game next week. However, in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tonight, a good one, as the Denver Broncos take on the Green Bay Packers, and last year they met in Denver in as good a preseason game as I've ever seen. This one will be in Madison, Wisconsin. Packers normally play one preseason game in the Wisconsin State Capitol, so we'll be there for Monday night preseason football, and it will start at 8 Eastern time. Our preseason game started at 8 Eastern. The regular season, we're back to 9 Eastern. Flag is down.
This time you'll have holding on Lang, number 86, the tight end. But get our first look at Ray Rhodes out in Green Bay, and Sherm Lewis running the offense like he really feels like he should be. It's you know, we'll see Brett Favre and see how he looks. I hear he's in great shape, and he's popping around camp, just having a good time. And
holding offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
And then we get a look at our defending Super Bowl champions
with Bubby Brister at the helm. The twists and turns of this game are just amazing. I mean, 2 years ago, Bubby Brister is out of football.
How about 3 years ago? Well, maybe it's 4 years ago now. I think 1995. He and I were on the Jets together, and our team was 3-13, and we were horrendous. And now he's on the Super Bowl team.
And then
I'm doing something right, huh?
As the starting quarterback,
right?
Looking for a three-peat after being out of football for a year in 1997. The pass is high over the middle and incomplete.
You know, when he filled in for John Elway last year, he did a great job. He really did. They didn't miss a beat. He had a big game on Monday night in Kansas City. So, you know, I think things are in good hands. They picked up Chris Miller, and Brian Griese going to take the next step. So I think they're in good shape there, and they have the best running back in all of football in Terrell Davis. And if there is one guy that could break Eric Dickerson's record, it will be Terrell Davis, and it could be this year.
Mm-hmm. Full start by our band. The time of possession reflected there, just about even, and the game is even at 17-all with 3:45 remaining in the fourth. Mike Cook, and that pass is caught at the 38-yard line by Curtis Marsh, his second reception of the night, but well shy of a first down. It'll be fourth down and long with 3.5 minutes to go. The Cleveland Browns will next play this weekend in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium, and then they will open up their new stadium, which is called Cleveland Browns Stadium, on Saturday night, August the 21st, against the Vikings. They'll play the Vikings and then the Bears in preseason games, and then play there for real on the opening night of the season on September 12th against Pittsburgh. That kick, what a great play at the goal line. That was Curtis Marsh, the receiver, getting down there and making the play at the goal line to keep it from going into the end zone. And that's the kind of play that wins you a job.
Absolutely. This is something that they practice every day at the end of practice, are these little corner kicks or down kicks, if you will. And the punter is trying to lead his receiver, believe it or not. And that was a terrific play, and it was a great punt. The last punt was ugly.
Yes. But
nice
Marsh,
play. Very nice.
He's one of those guys on the bubble fighting for a job and trying to win one at least on special teams. So the ball is at the 2-yard line for the Cowboys. Brian Kuklik, the quarterback. Denvis Manns, the running back. Each would be listed fourth on the depth chart at their respective positions. And Kuklik throws and gets it out of the end zone to Ryan Neufeld. First down up at the 38, rookie out of UCLA, and we go to Leslie.
Al, as you know, he's owned the Dallas Cowboys for 11 years. They've won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s, and Jerry Jones thinks they can win a 4th. Jerry, not many people are picking you. What gives you that confidence?
Well, I think some of our best years were when we were underestimated, and I can remember in the early years. But just something about these 90s, and it would be great to have 4 of them in the 90s.
It would be. What about your team this year? You are very conscious of the Cowboys' image. Some people say that's why you didn't draft Randy Moss at the time he was struggling. What is the purpose of keeping Leon Lett?
Well, I think when I want our fans to know that we do get it. We do understand that we've got a responsibility for our off-the-field issues, but there's some things about Leon that aren't apparent to everyone. And he's got some qualities. Leon has never embarrassed the Cowboys, only from his suspension, but not anything from his off-the-field behavior. He's a player that has a lot of respect from our players, and a player that I think we should stick with.
Have you been told how long he will be suspended?
No, I haven't, but I know that like I said, there's some good things that he does well, and I hope that he'll get the benefit of that.
Well, everyone says he's a really good guy. Thank you very much, Jerry. Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Leslie. We talked about Leon before, the fact he is suspended indefinitely at the moment.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Freddie Childress, and he was suspended for a violation of the league's substance abuse policy. He has, for the record, Leon has applied for reinstatement.
Well, I think he has to do that, and that's one of the things that you would follow course and try to get yourself back into the league. But, you know, as a former player, I mean, you want everybody to be there. There are responsibilities that you have as a player to other players.
On 1st and 20, that's almost intercepted. There were 5 Cleveland Browns in the neighborhood and only 1 Cowboy.
And this is literally the 3rd time that Leon has let his teammates down. You know, and after a while, it becomes frustrating. It becomes a distraction. And not talking in human terms, you're talking about a football player who gets paid to play football, and his teammates are relying on him. And there are times where some of these players need to wake up a little bit and realize that they have a responsibility.
Absolutely. I mean, people say, well, you know, what's wrong with the Cowboys, and don't they understand what the problem is? Of course they do. And they've tried to get him some help. And obviously the guy has a problem that he's not been able to conquer to this point. But you're right, Boomer. You know, you have to stop blaming, you know, your mother and your grandmother at a certain point.
Sooner or later, you got to
take your own responsibility.
Right. And the thing too is to also understand that you have players you know, like Lawrence Phillips, for instance, who, you know, had to hit rock bottom before he learned to get back up on his feet, and now he's going to try to do it again with the 49ers.
Right.
And you know, it's just, if you can play football, you're going to find your way on the field somehow. And if you're a good football player, they're going to make room for you.
3rd down and 20. Kuflick throws, and that's incomplete. And so the Browns will get it after the 2-minute warning in what should be fairly favorable field position in an attempt to win the game on a late field goal. 2-minute warning with the game tied at 17 all.
A lot of people have allergies. I have multi-symptom nasal allergies. It's the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. It's all of it. I told my doctor, I've had it. I want an allergy medicine made for my kind of allergies. He prescribed multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
Hey there. Now I got something here that's downright fun. My popcorn chicken. Crunchy morsels of tender white meat. It's back for a limited time. Just $1.99. Go Colonel. Go Colonel. At KFC, we do chicken right.
We're on the road to #1.
Are you ready for this year?
College football on ABC. I've been waiting all summer for kickoff. Our first game. Arizona and us go into Happy Valley.
We are Penn State! Woo!
Then it's Miami, Ohio State.
Next time you're at the airport, watch out. Your fellow travelers may be thieves. Our incredible pictures show how they work. Protect yourself on 2020 Wednesday.
Log on to NFL.com for team previews and daily news updates from training camp.
The Dallas Cowboys will punt with 2 minutes left in regulation here in Canton, Ohio. The game tied 17 all. And Gabe Lindstrom, a rookie, will do the punting. Rookie out of Toledo. He is a big long shot to win the job because Toby Goen is their regular punter and figures to have that job cemented. And Goen also does the kicking off. Nobody ineligible downfield. No flags at the line. The Bridges has to let it bounce. And it rolls to a halt at the 47-yard line. So that's where Cleveland will start its drive, hopeful of winding up in field goal range at worst.
Now this is an interesting part of the game here. Now we're inside of 2 minutes. The replay now takes over by the replay booth. And if there's a 2-minute drill and the quarterback is moving and it's a hurry-up offense, they think that they'll be able to stop the game if they make a call and they stop it.
It's up to the people in the booth to stop the game. The coach cannot do it. Sense of urgency I detected in the body language up there as Malcolm Thomas takes it to the 50-yard line. Didn't you get that feeling?
Yes, absolutely. Well, they're buttoning down in there now, man.
Yeah, there's no question. Sure. The rest of the game, it's up to the coach to make the challenge. Then they go into action.
But now it's their game. It's the replay officials' game. And
second down and 7. The ball at the 50-yard line. Mike Cook with a lot of time and then throws into double coverage, and that's incomplete. Intended for Rashid.
Tough to throw a fullback that type of pass. You could see Rashid. I mean, he looks like he weighs about 235, 240 pounds, and to try to throw a ball over a fullback head like that, it's very difficult for them to make that play. You can see how far his arms are apart from one another, and he'd rather just have the ball and run right up the middle.
Third down and 7 now at the 50-yard line. And they convert. That's a first down, and making the catch is Aaron Lang. The tight end takes it to the 35, under a minute to go, and that is a first down. The Browns have 2 timeouts remaining. So here they go in a hurry up with Mike Cook, a rookie from William and Mary.
The interesting thing here, and the good thing about it, is that Chris Palmer can talk to his quarterback through the headsets.
For the hurry up, he's taken a lot of time for this play, and they keep it on the ground and lose 2 yards to Ronald Moore. Now they're compelled to take a timeout. So they're at the 37-yard line, and you'd be looking at a 54-yard field goal attempt. Chris Palmer, the first coach of the new Cleveland Browns. And, you know, for years, you thought about the San Francisco 49ers as the cradle of coaches, and all of the pups out of Bill Walsh from Mike Holmgren and George Seifert all the way down the line. There's a new cradle, I think, in Jacksonville with Tom Coughlin. I mean, he sent that man, Chris Palmer, his offensive coordinator, now the coach of the Browns, and Dick Jauron, who is the defensive coordinator of the Jaguars, is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Well, just always remember where a lot of the coaching techniques come from, and that's from the guy that the Browns are named after, and that's the great Paul Brown.
Absolutely. Well, I'm telling you, I've always thought Coughlin is one of the very best in the league, and all of that fruit is being born right now. Second down and 12. And that's incomplete at the 26-yard line. For a guy like Tom Coughlin, though, it's a good news, bad news thing. You know, you hire some great people, and then you lose them.
And then when you lose both your offensive and defensive coordinator, literally around the same time, they're fighting to hire assistants. And Chris Palmer was telling us last night that, you know, between he and Jauron up in Chicago, you know, they were, you know, giving offers out to the same guys.
Third down and 12. And that is pulled in at the 31-yard line by Curtis Marsh. And Marsh is tackled, but inbounds at the 25. So the clock keeps rolling. They have only 1 timeout. Cook's trying to get him up to the line so he can spike it and save the timeout. But he better do it in a hurry because the clock is down to 6, and he does it here. Well, how can you blame him? I mean, he had a timeout.
Should have used it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what was happening, though, is that his coaching staff was telling him to down the ball, and you have a flag on the field. They were probably not set, I would think.
And that could be a fairly critical penalty in terms of where the ball is placed for the field goal attempt, and it's going to cost them. So you had a situation where You should have taken the timeout, but you didn't. You spiked the ball, and you get a penalty against you.
Well,
but
you know,
it's preseason.
Hey, it's all right. He was looking over the sideline. All the coaches were telling the down the ball. They could have easily told him to take a timeout, but really he should have taken a timeout. They probably would have had about
offense. There were only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
They could have had 16 seconds or so.
68 reports, 51 reports.
And they could have had one play on the sideline. Let's take a look here. And you could see the receiver at the top trying to get on the line of scrimmage to cover the tackle on that side. It's an illegal formation.
So the penalty moves the ball to the 29, and now a game-winning field goal attempt of 46 yards by Danny Kite, who's fighting with Phil Dawson for the job. Danny Kite out of Augusta State. A 46-yarder to try to give the Browns the win. And he cannot. It is wide to the right. Regulation has expired, and now Lerner and Carmen Policy will watch their Cleveland Browns go into overtime against the Dallas Cowboys.
There are moments in time where you can really make a name for yourself. And when you have that opportunity, especially when it's a little bit further than you would like, you've done something special, and the coaches recognize that. And unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
So we will have a coin toss to determine the first possession in sudden death overtime. And
wow,
Kite,
he missed that.
Yep, and just left it off to the right.
Danny Kite had an opportunity to separate himself right there and didn't take advantage of it. I wonder if it was that new Special K ball.
Well,
you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
It's one of the stories around the league. Nobody seems to know what it's going to mean.
Timeout. The first team to score will win. Dallas, it will be your choice. What is your call, heads or tails? He called tails. It is heads. He's won the toss. Steve, which direction? Kick it this way.
All right, Cleveland's going to receive.
Cleveland has won the toss and will receive.
I don't think the fans were really aware of it, but the players could actually manipulate the footballs, and they've changed some of the rules in regard to the kickers, and we'll talk about that and have the overtime when we get back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
On any road, in any kind of weather, you can find yourself out of luck with a flat tire. But not with this tire. Even with no air pressure, you keep driving to safety. Goodyear AquaSteel Run Flat. It could be the difference between finding yourself out of luck or finding the safe way home. AquaSteel Run Flat, only from Goodyear.
It's a 50-yard indoor war. Arena football's two best teams go head-to-head in Arena Bowl 13. Catch it live August 21st on ABC.
Tonight, the best teams on television are back. Catch the AFC-NFC Hall of Fame game live at 5 o'clock. Then catch the latest local news with Dan Lewis and Kathy Gertson. Tonight at 8 on KOMO 4 News Primetime.
Now what we're seeing is a good chance for some sunshine for the weekend. For the first time in a while, the weather system's announced.
KOMO 6-day planner. Because you can't get a tee time on only 4 days' notice. That's part of the Steve Poole difference. KOMO 4 News. First for local news.
Experience their adventures. Share their triumphs. Brave their tragedies. Get in on the action with David Hasselhoff and the men and women of Baywatch.
You've got the greatest job. The best office in the world.
Baywatch. Get in on the action every week.
Baywatch tonight at 9 on KOMO ABC 4. Here's what viewers are saying about KOMO 4 News. Viewers know where to watch for more local news. Thanks for watching KOMO 4 News, first for local news. The Niners, Thursday, August 19th on KOMO ABC4.
Well, there is a jack of all trades. Chris Warren, the all-time leading ground gainer in the history of the Seahawks. And working now, of course, along with Emmitt Smith out of the Cowboy backfield. Emmitt worked our camera a couple of years ago.
This is the new NFL player development program.
That's right. So we start overtime as Cunningham kicks off, and Ronnie Powell will run it back for Cleveland, and he gets ended up at the 27-yard line.
Well, we were talking about the ball before, that there is a new rule that's in place, albeit obscure for most of the fans, but from now on, there are 12 new kicking balls that are marked with a K on it that are sealed before the game, and the referees rub them down. And you were asking me, why is that such a big deal? Well, because during the week, kickers would take the ball, all the balls, rub them down, blow them up, and get them to their liking for the games on Sundays.
And occasionally put them into a microwave or a dryer.
Or a sauna. Now I play with some great kickers. I play with Nick Lowry, Jim Breach, and I dare say this one, Lee Johnson. And those guys all would worry about the balls and how they were on Sunday. So they always had to take them and rub them down and do whatever they had to do with them. I actually think Lee Johnson slept with them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's how crazy he was about it.
Aha. So he wanted to seal them with a kiss.
Or something, I don't know. But,
okay.
But they're a little neurotic when it comes to stuff like that.
On 2nd and 6. This is Madre Hill up to the 32. Yeah, the thing is, the kickers have complained about it, and there, I assume, are one of the kicking balls, or maybe not. Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know what's what anymore. But I was talking to Chris Gardocki before the game about it. He said, the biggest problem is I have to stop thinking about this.
Well, that's the problem. They have entirely too much time on their hands.
Right.
And all they do is worry about, what are they kicking? Where are they kicking it? Where's it going?
3rd down and 6 at the 31-yard line. And that is caught by Ronald Moore, and Moore does not have a first down. About 3 yards shy.
Well, I don't really think it's a big deal, but who knows? Somewhere along the line, somebody will drop something and somebody will complain about it.
I think people, as you look at that win,
and many people feel that Datwin is a kind of an undersized linebacker, but they said the same thing about Zach Thomas down in Miami. Speed is what goes in this game.
Hanson punt. Pulled in, and falling down is Wayne McGarity, and he brings the ball back to the 29. Just to finish up the ball situation, I guess the reason is the league felt that field goals were just too easy to come by at 80%, and not enough kicks were being run back.
Right, kickoffs were
in the meantime. Let's take a look at expansion teams from 1960 on. So Dallas, remember, they were winless in their first ever season with Tom Landry at the helm, and then the next few expansion teams won 3 games apiece. Seahawks came in and won 2. Tampa Bay drew a blank. The Bucs were 0-14 in '76. But then along came Carolina and Jacksonville. And by the time they expanded in '95, the expansion teams were given a much better break in terms of drafting position and the ability to sign free agents. And so Carolina was 7-9, and Jacksonville was 4-12, and then both went to their respective championship games in year 2. Mike Quinn, the quarterback.
And when you look at the roster of the Cleveland Browns, again, we said about it at the top of the game that their defense is veteran-laden. Their offensive linemen have good veterans on there, but still, they're skilled people. Even though tonight we saw some things from Couch and some of the wide receivers, they were playing against the second team or third string players. And when they get in there against Pittsburgh that opening week, it's going to be hard for them to score. Games are going to be won 17-14, maybe 21-17. They're not going to be high-scoring games.
Dwight Clark, formerly with the 49ers. Dwight, of course, he looks and visits with Kirby, one of the guys he helped bring over. Dwight will forever be remembered in the lore of the Bay Area and the 49ers as the man who made the catch against the Dallas Cowboys that propelled them to their first Super Bowl win, formerly with the 49ers. That group of 10 all coming over. Policy and Clark facilitating that, obviously, as Quinn throws, and that's knocked down at the 45-yard line. Speaking of Clark and the catch, next year, eligible to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I guarantee you we will be interviewing him at some point during next year's Hall of Fame game, is one Joe Montana.
Well, what do you want me to say about him? I mean, he beat us in Super Bowl 23. So, yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of his, but, he took something away from me at the end. The worst way to do it.
That's the first ballot lock, and also very likely to go in on the first ballot is Ronnie Lott.
Oh, easily. I would say easily.
That's intercepted by Dalen McCutcheon. That's his second pick of the game, as Quinn was hit as he threw, and McCutcheon comes up with the interception.
I had the opportunity to play with Ronnie Lott, and my locker was next to him, and the guy never shut up about football, Al. I mean, it was constantly. Defensive lineman causing an interception right there.
Tyrone Rogers is the guy, a rookie out of Alabama State, who had him, forced the pick, and the other rookie, McCutcheon, comes up with his second interception as Jerry Jones, a la the regular season, paces the sideline at the end. 3:03 into regulation. Keep it on the ground, and Madre Hill, to the 40-yard line. Malcolm Thomas, first year back out of Syracuse, picks up about 9. Well, Boomer, the way I look at it, the fans waited 3 years to get their Browns back, and they're going to give them money's worth.
Oh, you're not kidding. I'll tell you, it's a pretty good preseason opener, and a lot of these guys, especially guys like McCutcheon now, he's made 2 interceptions. He's around the ball. He's making plays, and that's exactly what the coaches want. And this guy, Madre Hill, getting around the corner. He's running hard, and Chris Palmer really wants this game, obviously. And he makes no bones about it. He said he really wanted to win this one. This would be getting off to a great start for them, and I'm sure he's going to pull it all out here right now.
The best thing about this game is that we have the ability to say the Cleveland Browns again.
Right.
I mean, it just wasn't right. It was the Dodgers out of Brooklyn. It was like taking the Celtics out of Boston. It was like taking the Canadiens out of Montreal and taking the Statue of Liberty out of New York Harbor and putting it in the Florida Keys. It just wasn't right.
Oh, you're right.
At the 35-yard line, going for 6, and a flag is thrown.
You're going to get holding right here.
Ronnie Powell with Kevin Brooks.
Kevin Brooks is going to get flagged. Here we go.
And the call is defensive holding and an automatic first down against the Cowboys.
Looked like a play earlier in the game that the officials didn't call, and this time they wasted no time
Well, the
throwing the
pass
flag.
was in the air, therefore it becomes pass interference. Defense number 31. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Right, it's a holding call before the ball is in the air, and then pass interference after the ball is in the air. And Palmer making his own call from the sideline. So that moves it down to the 15-yard line. That's a 20-yard penalty. The game tied 4 minutes, 22 seconds into overtime. A sudden death overtime with a maximum of 15 minutes. And through the middle goes Malcolm Thomas to the 2-yard line.
Cowboys guessing blitz. They blitzed the wrong way, and that's the beauty of a running play straight up the middle. If you can run it away from the blitz and find a seam, you could get big yards. And you think Carmen Policy and Al Lerner are pretty happy about this?
Well, it's the perfect ending to a dream that has been realized by every old Cleveland Browns fan. And the resurrection, they hope, will culminate in a W as Malcolm Thomas takes it inside the 1. Cowboys tonight have been penalized 17 times for 149 yards.
Interesting. He doesn't want to kick it. I'm like, kick it already. Let's go.
In the regular season, I think you kick it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They haven't even decided on the kicker yet. That's part of the problem. So Malcolm Thomas lines up as the I-back. And Cook gives it to Thomas, and Thomas gets stopped for a small loss. Back at the 2.
Now, the interesting thing here is, let's say there's a fumble on the snap on 4th down or something. You can't save it down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you have a timeout where you could save it. You could save a mistake on a field goal. So I know for a fact that they would be kicking the field goal here.
3rd down goal. Palmer agonizing. He's so close. And can Thomas do it? No, he cannot.
Well,
and now Billy Gustin saves a possible touchdown, and they will go to the man who was slightly ahead in the kicking duel at the start of the game, Phil Dawson. Danny Kite had missed the long field goal at the end of regulation, and now Dawson, who's already kicked a 23-yarder, but on that one he just barely made it.
On that last play, you saw the speed of that win, boy. He came out of nowhere and made a tackle for a 3-yard loss.
This is a 20-yard field goal, in effect an extra point to win the game. Phil Dawson. And the kid out of Texas beats the Cowboys.
A little bit of justice there, isn't it, Al?
Well, the Browns are back and in their backyard in Canton, Ohio. They win in overtime. 6 minutes 54 seconds into the extra period. Dawson boots one through from 20 yards, and the Cleveland Browns are back and back with a win as they beat the Dallas Cowboys 20-17. Back in a minute.
Welcome to Football Fantasy. What's your idea of fun on a Sunday afternoon?
Oh, toting the rock for 200 yards for my man Chip. Yeah.
Throwing for 4 TDs, just for you, Chip.
I'm gonna order pizza with extra cheese for me and my pal Chip.
Yeah. Oh, time's up. I can't decide. You don't have to. You get NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV. Choose the games and players you want to watch all regular season long.
DirecTV, what are you looking at? Now get 3 months of programming free when you get DirecTV.
See you in September.
We need you and you. It's September.
Welcome back, man. So the fans are #1 in our hearts, and we're going to give them a lot to cheer about this season.
We're going to be yelling, screaming. Hey! Here, fellas! We're #1! #1, baby! One more time! Yeah! Let's go! Let's see in September!
Well, the very happy crowd filing out of Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio, as in overtime. The Cleveland Browns win it. Dawson bangs one through from 20 yards away. But the man of the hour for the Cleveland Browns and their fans is the quarterback, Tim Couch, and he's with Leslie.
Yes, he is, Al. Running off the field, Jerry Ball just said to me, that is a pro quarterback. Congratulations. How do you gauge your first game, Tim?
Well, you know, there were some, up and down times. You know, I missed a couple things there, but, I felt I've done some positive things. And, now I got something to go back and look at the film and just try to realize where my weak points are and go out and try to correct them.
You said about 7 or 8 days ago that you needed the game to slow down. How was it for you out there?
Well, it slowed down a little bit. I'm still not where I want to be, the ultimate goal is to be where Troy and those guys are, where you're just out there and, be one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But, right now I'm just going through some growing pains, and it's just going to take a little time.
Well, running off the field a moment ago, Dwight Clark said to me, we knew he had it. We just didn't know he had it that fast. Congratulations to you. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. What a start for Couch and the resurrected Cleveland Browns as they won it tonight 20-17. 2 weeks from tonight we'll be in Madison, Wisconsin. The Denver Broncos taking on the Green Bay Packers. Monday Night Football is online at ESPN.com. Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, Leslie Visser, good night from Canton. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence.
ABC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football